Hi, this is Nicholas Bell with Ion Cinema, here to review Radioactive, the fifth film directed by Marjane Satrapi, which premiered at the 2019 Toronto International Film Festival and will be released digital on demand on Amazon Studios as of July 24th, 2020. So Radioactive is ostensibly a biopic about Marie Curie that tries to go off in some more innovative visual and narrative directions than it really can rightly allow the audience to digest. But those are appreciative elements that aren't necessarily cohesive with something that does feel very old-fashioned, starting with the fact that it's filmed in English starring Rosamund Pike, which is kind of a surprise considering Satrapi, who is born in Iran and is obviously well-versed in the French language, which was what both her first films, Persepolis and Shaken with Plums, were filmed. Why she decided to go this route. I think it feels like it was intended to be a prestige package starring Pike, whose performance is likable. It starts out, she's on her deathbed in 1934 Paris, which is a sequence we of course return to. It goes through her courtship with Pierre Curie, played by Sam Riley, and then her first and second Nobel Prizes, and kind of her controversial placement in French society because she's originally Polish and they didn't necessarily like her. It's repeatedly shown to us that Marie Curie was a difficult, prickly woman who was very headstrong and wanted to do everything her way. And it's almost a pity that we weren't able to see behind that veneer for why a woman in that period, a brilliant woman in that period, would have to behave that way. A major disappointment regarding the film is Jack Thorne's screenplay, which is kind of the problem I had with his screenplay for The Aeronauts as well, is it decidedly takes a banal look at periods of her life which could have been excised completely, instead to focus on something more intense or passionate, such as her courtship with Sam Riley's Pierre Curie, and other very awkward sequences, such as with Anya Taylor-Joy, who plays her adult daughter, a woman who would also go on to win her own Nobel Prize. I was reminded a bit, especially in the last 15 minutes, of G.W. Papp's Paracelsus, but this film doesn't pivot that way, mostly because we lose any aspect of Marie Curie as a person. This is purely Marie as a symbol, and while it is interesting that it shoots off into segments where we see the effects of her discoveries, like in atomic bomb testing in Nevada, or Chernobyl, or chemotherapy, it really removes us further from her as a human being. Marie, this is the first time Marie Curie's been portrayed on film. Greer Garson in the 1940s, of course Isabelle Huppert in 1997. But one wonders why we couldn't have gone back to at least French language. That said, it looks, and this is probably a way to keep it looking like a period film, it looks kind of what I thought was a little on the cheap side. Which is surprising because it was shot by Anthony Dodd Mantle, who of course won an Oscar for Slumdog Millionaire and lends Lars von Trier's Antichrist. I did like the soundtrack. Evgeny and Sasha Galperin, who also composed the soundtrack for Loveless and Beanpole recently. But I was surprised to pick up on at least two Philip Glass pieces of music that were used, of course, in Stephen Daldry's The Hours, but were already recycled by then, which I thought was kind of interesting a little bit if you're familiar with the music a bit. Kind of takes you out of what's going on with Radioactive. Overall, I would give the film 1.5 out of 5 stars. Thank you.
Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.